Good morning and welcome to a brand new week and a brand new edition of your program Summit. I am Jumoke Michaels and Banji Busari is right here with me this morning.
Jumoke, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to a new week.
It's great to be back at our duty post.
Yes.
My name is Banji Busari and it's the fresh edition of our program Summit. And as usual, this edition promises to be very, very exciting, making you discover new things, particularly in the field of education and career management.
Well, yes, that's so very important. In fact, when I saw the antecedents of one of our guests this morning, I was so excited because when you talk about English language, it's something so important that because the way this generation is going, I fear. Have you read text messages that some of them will send? You cannot make a head or tail of what they're, because everything is abbreviated.
But the tragedy of it all is that they do not limit the bad English language to smartphones and text messages.
Exactly.
They even use it in official communication.
Exactly, and that's where the fear comes. Because you don't seem to know, they don't seem to know where to draw the line between being formal and being informal.
So the issue is, one, whether or not there is a proper acquisition of knowledge
from the school.
Knowledge as English language, and then application as well. So today we seem to be near El Dorado because somebody who knows.
Yeah, we need help. Our society needs help.
We need help.
We need help.
We need to be rescued.
I think that's the right word. All right, so some of the highlights of national events this week. We have the inauguration of commissioners in Lagos State holding tomorrow. And then the
at the
federal level
on Wednesday.
Yeah, on Wednesday. So that's some events people need to watch out for tomorrow and Wednesday in Lagos. We don't know about other states, but at least we know for Lagos State and the one at the federal level. So people need to watch out for that. And then also that Lagosians have been warned that they need to take care of their environment towards the September rains.
Yeah, there's a warning.
Yeah,
there's
September rains.
That,
everything, we don't have to wait for the government to do everything. There are some things we can do ourselves, especially in our immediate environment, to ensure that we don't experience flooding. Because at the end of the day, you are the one who loses your properties.
Okay, you are right. You are very correct.
All right. So we'll go on a quick break, and then when we return today, we are talking education. Like we have already given you an update of what we are doing. So we want you to sit back, and then we'll be right after this break. We'll be back after this break.
I just want your papers, please.
Sir.
Salary don't enter. Yes, so. And Monday never even reach them. Na salary plenty, oh. No wonder I no gree collect roja for my hand. Shut up, sir. I'm here to bail my younger brother.
If it happen.
With good law,
Proper funding, training,
and cooperation.
if it happen.
All right, welcome back, and thanks for still being there. Today on the program, we're talking career management. And we have two people here with us in the studio with whom we'll be discussing this morning. And let me do ladies first. We have Dr. Taiwo Kondi. She's an applied linguist and also she's an applied linguist and an expert in English language. You're welcome, Dr. Taiwo.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
And then we also have someone who's very, 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 very prominent on this program. Time past, Dr. Peter Ogudoro, an expert also in education and career management, and also the CEO, Smart Careers, and also the Director, University Access Center. You're welcome, sir.
Always pleasure
to
be
have
here.
you join us.
Sure.
And also, just to further talk about them, they are alumni of British universities, and they have evidence from their areas of professional practice to share with us today so that we can find answers to so many questions around career management and school placement. I know you're an expert in that, and we'll be touching on that the course of our discussion also this morning. So you're welcome.
It's a pleasure.
So we have so many brilliant people who do very little, who don't do so well in life, while some who are not brilliant at all always tend to do so well. When we look at this, you say it's something that should not be so, but you find out that it does happen. So what can you say about this?
Well, most of the time, we tend to take it for granted that all it takes to become successful in life is high intelligence quotient. But we do know
or the
that
kind of school you attend.
Yeah, or the kind of school you attend. Indeed, the kind of school you attend does matter, you know, in how much you can accomplish in life. Because if you attend a school where the people who run society also gather, you are likely to develop social capital, which you can convert to economic capital, to financial capital later. And that will open doors and windows for you to, you know, harness opportunities around the world. That's why, generally speaking, most people who have had the privilege of studying abroad tend to do generally better than those who haven't had such privileges. And that is not to say that what it takes to become very successful is for you to go and study abroad, because if you do study abroad, you still don't have the tools for managing your career effectively. You are still going to run into very serious problems. So a major reason why people who seem to be very brilliant not doing well in life will be the fact that they just think that success begins and ends with just passing examinations. We do know that that's not exactly so. And in some sense, as a matter of fact, if you pass exams so well all the time and you never fail, it can you know, become something that will jeopardize your success in the future, because you get so used to success that you don't want to try anything that you're not absolutely sure will succeed. And we do know that life won't offer you success all the time. Sometimes you have to fail to be able to succeed, better. And so generally, even with my own children, they have done generally well in school, but sometimes I work out an arrangement that enables them to take second position instead of the first position they tend to take, so that they realize that you don't always achieve their targets in life, because in the real world, that's what they're going to face. So, the point one is trying to make is that you need a system. You need a proactive agenda for managing your career. Unfortunately, in this part of the world, we haven't a system that enables young people to manage their career from kindergarten, up till the time they leave university and try to make a living. And so what we do is to grope in the dark and, through trial and error and see if we can succeed. But we know that in better societies, your career gets managed from the time you're in kindergarten. We schedule experiences that will expose you to how the world works, so that you get good grades, but don't stop there. You also develop good relationships that will enable you to harness opportunities that are within society. Because no matter how intelligent you are, it won't take only your efforts for you to get to where you're going to. You need some people who will have to hold you by the hand and show you, the way, so that you don't have to always try to reinvent those things that other people have already finished accomplishing.
Before I actually come to you, Konde Taiwo, Dr. Taiwo Kondi, let me actually take it further, but bring it further down home. This is the season of UTMEs, post-UTMEs, and all that.
Yes.
Now, we found out that many of our candidates, many of our secondary school students who have graduated, with high scores in JAM, don't usually get the courses of their choice.
Yeah.
Don't get universities of their choice, and some of them don't even get courses of their choice.
Yeah.
Now, is it that life is just unfair to them, or something actually went wrong along the line?
If life is unfair, that has become a reality because nobody is guiding them on how to understand how the system works. Because it doesn't take only high scores in JAM UTME to get into the university in today's world. Many of them can score 330, 320, but have made wrong choice of subjects that they wrote even in the examination. That knocks them off completely. And that's one. Two, as a result of some of the challenges we have had in the education system, a JAM result is no longer all it takes to get into the university. JAM result is just about 1/3 of what you need now to get into the university. The quality of your school certificate does matter. So if candidate A makes A1 in all her papers and then scores 240 in JAM UTME, while another candidate makes B's in all her papers, and let's say makes C's in all her papers, and then scores 320. Who do you think is likely to get in there? It's not the one who has scored 320 in JAM. It's most likely going to be the one who has made A1 in all her papers at the school certificate level. Most parents are not aware of this, so they start investing late. They invest only when they have bought the JAM funds, they start attending lessons. That is not going to make all the difference they are looking for. Beyond that, most universities now are conducting what they call post-JAM examination. So after you have written the JAM UTME, they conduct another one in the universities. And because most of these young children who even succeed sometimes to get good grades from the schools they have attended have cheated to get those results. So when they get into the university where they are not able to cheat because the professors run the system in such a way that you can't effectively cheat, you discover that they are not able to impress the professors. And so they score very low marks. And so you'll find somebody who started with, who got into the system, or this process of getting into the university with 320, but ends up scoring only 13 over 30, which is not up to 50%. And when you talk with them, they say, they gave me 13, you know, making it look like it wasn't their fault.
Doctor, I don't know if you are aware of an issue that is currently trending now.
Yeah.
A particular candidate in the recent JAM, because of maybe the fear of failure, or maybe the pressures from the parents, actually doctored the result from 201 to 261 to be able to make the score, the course of his choice. Now, where did he was caught on the way. And there is trending now. The JAM registrar, Professor Loide, is actually on that issue as we speak. Now, where could the problem have come from?
It's a systemic flaw. All of us are responsible. It's not just the child. Because there's so much pressure on children in Nigeria today to do well and go to university. We present university education as the only route to successful life. And so long as we continue to tell them that unless they get out of university with good grades, in fact, these days it's not just getting a university degree. You must finish with a 2-1, you have to finish with a first class. And your parents are telling you that the school fee they are spending to put you through school is an investment and you have to account for it. And so they do everything under the sun to be able to get in there. And we also indulge in this social comparison. My son gained admission into Unilag, so every other person has to also get into Unilag to become, respectable in the larger society. So children know our value system, children know our reward system. And so they want to be rewarded, they want to be respected, they want to be recognized. And parents want to go to church and mosques to give testimonies about how God has blessed them through how well their children have done in JAMB examinations and securing admission. So everything is put into the on the table to ensure that we crack it and get in there. How we make it doesn't matter anymore in our society.
That's sad. All right, now, Dr. Taiwo Kondi, applying professional guidance to your area of expertise, which is English language, why do you think many Nigerian children do poorly in English language? Okay, is it from the background or where you just take it from wherever you think we get it wrong?
I believe that we get it wrong when we begin to tell students or wards that the English language would only give you access to symbolic capital. The English language would give you access to status, to a kind of respect in society. For instance, during the course of my research, I asked students that what would they like to be in future. They tell me, oh, I would like to be a doctor, but I don't want to be a quack doctor. What does it mean to be a quack doctor? A doctor that cannot speak and write in English. So having access to their future imagined identity, they would need English. For them to move from SS1 to SS2, they would need English. For them to even get from their SS3 to university, they would need English. And when you begin to put that kind of burden on the language, what the student would do then is to cram. So you find them cramming, you find them reading their notebooks and then cramming dictionaries just so that they would pass. And then on the side of the teachers, what they do is that there is now an undue stress, for them to quickly finish the syllabus. Oh, I have so and so amount of topics to teach, so I need to teach it so that my students would make A during WAEC, or they will make a B or a C. So, and when you begin to think like that, what they then teach in class really is that they just come to class and then write notes on the board for them. A student was telling me that the teacher will come to class, write, on the board, and then tell them, you can go and read your notebook. It's self-explanatory. I don't need to teach. So what they teach in class is that students begin to internalize rules, grammar, not really teaching them how they would use those rules, in the society. There's no real-world applicability. So, for instance, if I teach you what is a preposition, what is a noun, students need to know, how would I use that in the society? How would I use that to navigate the complex relationship or the complex identities I have within the society? So if you don't have that, then, students would begin to fail the language.
As a foundation for learning the language. Yeah. All right, but what about homes where children grow from, that they speak Pidgin English, or those who actually speak traditional language to their children? Does it actually help to form a strong foundation for English language?
Yes.
Not spoken now. We're talking about spoken or even written, all encompassing.
Yes, all encompassing.
All right.
According to research, really, it says that every child, should be introduced to the mother tongue. Even our national policy on education, that's what is written there. Every child between the age of 0 to 3 years old should be introduced to the mother tongue or the language of the immediate environment. And I get where the fears for parents comes from. Because, for instance, they would imagine that, if my child learns to speak the mother tongue, then it would affect, him or her having competence in the English language, which, there's no basis for it. There's really no fact. There's no research. In fact, research will tell you that you need that child to be able to speak the mother tongue so that that child would, whatever he has learned, would be transferred in learning the English language so that he or she will be competent in the language. So if you want to introduce the mother tongue to your child at home, it's absolutely fine. That doesn't mean that is what is making, students fail the English language. No, that's not it. It's just that, we fail to tell students that whatever you teach in class has a real world, there has to be
what about the Pidgin?
The Pidgin?
Yeah.
Well, when we say Pidgin, what exactly is Pidgin? It's like, you break down the English language so that you're able to communicate. And there's, every language has a rule. Pidgin has a rule. The English language has a rule, has rules and regulations that need to be abided with. So you speaking English too doesn't necessarily mean that, you would be faulty, or your competence in English language would affect, yes, your competence in English. It won't affect your competency. What would really affect your competency, as I keep saying, is that we don't treat language as social practice. We don't treat learning of English language as something that has to do with you telling them that, okay, I'm teaching you this in class, then you have to apply whatever I've taught you in class, into real world situations. So, for instance, our exercises in classes are just for child dishes out whatever it is it needs students to learn. You don't have real world simulations in classrooms. You don't have role playing in classrooms, for instance. We don't have exercises that would allow students master, or practice whatever it is you've taught them, in the class. There are no real world situations in the classrooms for students. They are not even acquiring vocabulary for them to function properly in the society. Yeah, so that's where the issue really comes from.
Yeah, it's important to place high emphasis on the point she has put on the table. our education is faulty. We train our children just to pass exams, to be able to move to the next level, to be able to get good jobs. We are not equipping them with knowledge, skills, and values to be able to make a difference in their local communities. We are not preparing them for community service. We are not preparing them for leadership. We're only preparing them to pass exams. And you find that both in the English language and the mathematics, and as a matter of fact, in virtually every other thing we're doing in the we're doing in the school system. In mathematics, even people who have masters in mathematics, you ask them sometimes to translate some of the equations they teach children in the class into handling real-world situations, and they fail, not to talk about the people they are teaching, okay? Why is this so? Because everybody is carrying this burden of doing well in life, and our understanding of doing well in life is to get, 2-1 when you go to university, make A's when you write school certificate, and score high marks when you write JAM. So long as everybody is carrying that burden and parents keep pushing their children to keep doing well in terms of, scores, academic grades, scholastic aptitude tests, definitely they are not going to get far. And that's why countries that know what education means have started playing, de-emphasizing the relevance of examination in the school system. In Finland, for example, children don't write exam until they're age 16. And that's important because they have declared that examination distracts you from, placing emphasis on learning. Because learning is not just about getting grades. If your learning has not translated into solving real-world problems, then you haven't learned anything. You have only succeeded in picking up certificates, which is why Nigerian education system continues to fail.
Yeah, Dr. Kondi, you've always referred to researches a number of times now. Now, if your research, what's the outcome of the research, and then how can you actually use the research to help a group of students, for instance, who probably are entrusted in your care, to come out much more different and much stronger than those who did not pass through you?
Okay, my research really, when I tell people what I did for my research, they kind of laugh, because what I went to do for 3 years was to ask the question, why are we learning English? Why is it so compulsory? Why is it that we place such a huge burden, on the language, and then we invest so much in it, even though we know we need to invest so much in it, and at the end of the day, we still don't come out with the requisite, results. And then I found out that, it's much more than the way it is. Language, for instance, in Nigeria, we say, why do you use the English language? If I ask you, for instance, you say, oh, it's a language of unity. It's the language of entitlement.
Of course, it's the official language.
Yes, it's the official language. But, when we begin to further ask ourselves the question, really, why? Why is it the official language?
So, what would you be able to do differently to actually transform, to correct those deficiencies?
Okay, as I said earlier, that what I would be able to do differently right now is to tell students, for instance, now that English right now is very important and you need it as a language. You need it to be competent. So how do you learn it? How do you translate what you've learned in class into real-world situations? Yes. So what I would do, I would teach grammar, I would teach vocabulary, and I would teach all the rules they need to be able to function properly within the language. But then I would go further and look for situations whereby they would use the language. Abroad, for instance, there's this course we do, CELTA. And what they basically do is that they teach you how to speak, to read, to write, and then to listen, which are the 4 major skills in English language. But what we do in this part of the world is the reading and the writing. We've neglected speaking, we've neglected listening. So for the speaking class, for instance, you will find students creating scenarios of themselves actually, being in shops, trying to bargain. You find them creating scenarios of, telling people that, oh, this is how to get to places. So those are the kind of things we don't have, in these countries. We don't let students talk. We don't ask for feedback. We don't even let them to learn the language in real world situations. We've neglected that. It's out of teachers will tell you there's no time. There's no time.
So, doctor, this is the season. That's Dr. Ogudoro. Now, this is the season for post-UTMEs, and many of our students, would want to make the Unilag, as you say, want to make UI, want to make IFE, Ilorin, ABU, and all that. Yeah. So, what can you do to actually assist? How should they go about it?
Well, education is a social service, and that's one of the reasons why, again, we have a challenge in our country, because you have intruders into the system, you know, lawyers, politicians, engineers who have set up schools, and they go and live in London, and they use the schools they have set up to generate money that keeps them in London and in New York. And so not much teaching and professional guidance is available to these children who want to get to places that will enable them to shine. And so some of us are here because we are gifted in this area. We are called to be educators, and we are willing to serve even for free when the opportunity comes. And in the next 2 weeks, now that we have season of post-UTME, I'm available, and Dr. Konde too, we are going to work together to see if we can help those who are preparing for post-UTME, give them at least some seminars for free, and as a social service, and provide guidance so that they will know what to do even beyond getting into the university. Because getting into the university, again, does not guarantee success in life. Many people get in there, they don't even finish. And so we have to be sure that we are guiding our children properly. And some of them who are even going to write post-UTME are writing for the wrong courses. You asked that. I was speaking with a young person yesterday who said he wants to study, or 2 days ago, who said he wants to study system engineering. And I asked, what's system engineering? He has no idea. What he was telling me, you know, system engineering is software engineering. But nobody, you know, was there to help him to understand that what he thinks system engineering is not what it is. So he's going to burn 5 years to study system engineering, and at the finish line, he discovers that he has done the wrong thing, and then he has to start life all over again. So there's need for guidance, and we are going to provide that service. People can sign up at Smart Careers Solutions to come up to get free guidance within the next 2 weeks. We should be able to do that. This coming weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I should be available, and Dr. Kendish too should be available. We can assist. And most of the time, we like parents to come, because sometimes children want to do the right thing, but their parents distract them by placing this burden on them.
We're talking of 24th. Of August and 25th. And
25th of August, yes, yeah, definitely. But I'm not sure we're going to have, you know, enough space, except, you know, philanthropists like you, you know, give us space that can take up to 1,000. But we can go as far as the resources we have can carry us. Yeah,
all right, where is this holding?
Well, if you register at smartcareers.solutions, you'll be able to book for a space, and then we'll get back to you. But there will be about 2 locations. We have done this for quite some time at 102 Ogunusi Road at Ogudoro for quite some time. So that place, properly presented, is auto point, quick fit. But you don't just walk in there, because we won't be able to cater for everyone who has to come. But we are going to make a deliberate effort to try and see how we can accommodate as many people as possible. So if you register at smartcareers.solutions, and then you can be sure that other things being equal, we'll be able to find you a place. If we don't accept you for Saturday, we can accept you for Sunday. So that if you are going to write post-UTME, you get some tools that will enable you to navigate the waters, and also get career management tools that will enable you to succeed generally in life. As I have said, it doesn't take only a degree to make it. Some people have PhD and they still don't do well.
So all right, how will they sign on?
The number is also there on the screen.
And the website?
Yes, they sign up at the website, smartcareers.solutions. That's where you should properly.
Smartcareers.
In other words, www.smartcareers.solutions. If you sign up there, we'll get back to you.
Solution or solutions?
Solutions. There's an S after the solution.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, and then the number on the screen is also your number.
Yeah, definitely. If you have a problem,
you can call or send an SMS. Yes. But right on the program today, you can also call.
Yes.
You can call to ask your question or get direction on how you can be a part of this. Is it a training for parents?
Yeah, it's a seminar. It's a seminar for parents and young people who are trying to gain access to university. Whether it's getting access to university in Nigeria or getting access to university abroad. Interestingly, it's very possible for you to secure admission to go and study in America or Britain for free, because that's my area of specialism. And the reason why people do not know is because we don't have career guidance specialists within the school system who can show them where these opportunities are. And so parents are scared. They think that it it takes, you know, 100 million for you to train a child in England or in America. Indeed, it does cost money, and Nigerians are spending so much money. But most of the time, the reason why so much money is being spent by parents is because they don't have information. If you have information and you manage the child's career professionally, you save money and then give the child, you know, a head start in life.
All right, as we expect the calls. Okay, we already have a call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello? All right, now let me just ask Dr. Taro Kondi this. Were you a beneficiary of this kind of education? Did you have such counsel? Did you partake of such opportunities to have attained a doctorate degree at your young age? Or maybe you look younger or older than your age, but you look so young.
You look younger. Well, before I met Dr. Ogudoro, I already had a master's.
Okay.
You know, it wasn't as if I had what I wanted to do, really. I just knew, my parents knew I read a lot. So what better way to push their children than for them to push her into academic world, you know. So I found it was relatively easy for me to, you know, to perform
All right,
there.
please hold on, let's take this call. Hello, good morning. Hello? All right, please, if you're finding it difficult to reach us in the studio, you could just send an SMS. Send an SMS to the number on the screen. We'll read out your message, or Dr. Ogudoro will attend to your SMS. If you're finding it difficult to reach us in the studio so that we don't waste too much time on the calls, please just send an SMS to this number and we'll read out your message. All right, please continue.
Yeah, so after I finished my master's, I met Dr. Ogudoro, and that was when, you know, I now had a clear path of what I should do. So he advised that I should go outside the country and do another master's, which who would want to do that? But, you know, he felt going in for a PhD might be too much for me, you know, coming from this background, you know, our educational system, and that was how I thrived, and I finished my PhD in 3 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Over there?
Yes, over there in 3 years.
So you are one of the lucky few, we may say, who haven't gone to Dr. Ogudoro's tutelage.
Yes.
Dr. Ogudoro, let me take this argument, this discussion, and expand the scope. We seem to concentrate on the education. The career management is key too. Now, there are so many people undergoing daunting challenges in their careers. Are there people who can also make amends through your consultations?
Yeah, definitely. There is the major challenge in life is the fact that you find an individual, we are in Ikeja, this is a Lausa area, who takes us from here, and his destination is Abeokuta. Now, you find him somewhere at Onipan, and you ask him, if your destination is Abeokuta, why did you leave Ikeja and you're heading in the direction of Onipan? And he tells you that, this is the road to it. But he was mistaken out of ignorance. He was heading in that direction. I say, well, that's not the way to go. For you to get to Abeokuta, you need to go back to Ikeja and then try to find Agege and take that route. But most of the time, people will say, I've invested so much getting to this place, I need to continue on that route. And so they end up burning the entire life, and sometimes people go into depression, and many contemplate suicide. Even if they don't eventually do so, because they keep thinking about it and keep blaming themselves for the things they have not done, and blaming society if they don't think right, you discover that they are not going to be very successful. So you can do a U-turn at any point to discover that you have made a mistake or you have taken a wrong decision. And it doesn't matter what people around you will say, because the life is yours to live. Even when your parents are insisting, you also can put your feet down, especially if you're up to the age of 14. Really, you should be able to insist that this is where my gifts lie, these are my potentials, and these are my experiences. I want to be able to use them in a way that will productive, help me, help my family, and help society.
All right, we'll take a quick break now, and then when we return, we'll have a few more minutes to continue with this discussion. Please stay with us. You can continue to send your SMS to the number. We'll be right back. All right, you're welcome back. Please, if you're still trying to reach Dr. Peter Ogudoro and we're not picking your calls, please just send an SMS to that number. He will equally handle your matter. The number is there on the screen. Please send an SMS if you can't reach us through calls. All right,
they can also, you know, just log on to smartcareers.solutions, you know, www.smartcareers.solutions to place a request, and we'll be able to invite them for professional help.
All right, now, in the last few minutes we have on the program, I want us to actually concentrate on the seminar.
Okay.
I want us to talk more about the seminar, what age grade of children are permitted to come for that seminar,
okay.
What education qualification do they need to be part of that seminar, so that we can, parents can really understand what level of child they need to bring to that place before you begin to gather children that are not cannot benefit from this.
At the moment,
seminar.
we are very interested in those who are in senior school, SS1 to SS3. Those who just finished JS3 and will be resuming in SS1 in September, and then up to those who are going to resume in SS3 in September, as well as those who recently finished secondary school or who have been writing JAMB UTME for some time and they haven't been able to succeed. We want them to come with their parents. As a matter of fact, I'm not favorably disposed to talking to children who are not at the seminar ground with their parents, because they hear good news about how to move their future forward, and they get home and share these things with their parents, and out of ignorance and pride, they just assume that they know better than the children. The world has changed. The way they went to university 40 years ago is how they think university education still, you know, is run today, which is completely, you know, not what it is. So, that category of students, where apart from getting them to learn how to use the language, English language, and even their mother tongue well, we're also interested in introducing them properly to the sciences. We want to produce scientists for our country. We want to get inventors. Imagine from Nigeria. We don't have inventors here. And one of the reasons why that is so is the fact that sciences are not introduced properly to children. Okay, they are doing chemistry, they are doing physics, they are doing biology. But most of the time, emphasis is on passing examination. So by the time they finish passing examination, they discover that they can't solve real world problems. And most of the teachers are also not properly trained. And you've discovered that these days, most of the people teaching chemistry, physics, biology, and mathematics are engineers, you know, engineers, chemical engineers, electrical engineers, because we don't have factories that can...
Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Okay. Because we don't have factors that can engage them. So you find everybody who studied engineering going into education. So they're messing the system up. Education is a professional field, and you need to go to school to learn it. And so we need to equip these children and their parents with knowledge that will enable them to benefit maximally from the school system. And those who have become fed up with the way we run our education system can also be given guidance on how to secure appropriate opportunities abroad to go and have good quality education without having to fall into debt as a result of doing that.
On the 24th and the 25th, when you're inviting people to the seminar, what time in the morning?
Well, the first session on Saturday will start at 9 o'clock. We do just an hour. So if you come in later and you do African time, you miss it, because as from 10 o'clock, we're doing something else. I'm quite busy. Dr. Kende is quite busy. All the other, our mathematics specialists who are coming, the scientists who we're inviting to come and help them understand their future are all busy people. So we're going to locate an hour. So if they come late, they miss it.
9 to 10 a.m.
Yeah, 9 to 10 a.m. On
Saturday?
on Saturday. On Sunday, we'll do 12 to 1. And this is not a time for us to do too much of religion, because we have been praying for a very long time for our children to pass JAMB, and they haven't passed. So let's finish service early on Sunday and bring them to the venue. We'll work with them for an hour and give them the tools that will enable them to succeed in all these subjects and introduce them properly to the sciences, especially if they're just coming
Dr. Taiwo, at that seminar, you also be there. Are you going to be handling the children who are finding it difficult to handle English language?
Yes.
Because sometimes it's just that English language that is the child's problem, you know.
Yes. Yeah. But the truth is, you know, it's an hour, really, and there's really nothing much, you know, to do. But what I would try to do there is just to identify their lapses, you know, and tell them this is how to go about it. But then if they want more, if they really want to learn more, then, you know, we are available to take it from there with them.
All right.
Yes.
All right, so 24th, 25th of August.
Yes.
I wanted to reiterate that information again.
Yes, this Saturday, so that we don't even bother them with dates, because here we are not, our memories.
Okay, sorry, Saturday and Sunday, is it the same venue?
Yeah, the same venue,
the same venue,
you know, 102 Ogunusi Road at Ojodubega. But on a daily basis, you can just drop in, especially between 12 and 2, every day, if right from today, at 17 Tony Street, which is where I have my office. You can just come in there for free counseling. But children should come with their parents, because when you talk to children and their parents are not there, they get home and their parents rubbish everything and waste these children's time almost forever. And we don't want that to continue. So 17 Tony Street is an appropriate place to visit anytime you have any career challenge, whether you have finished university or you are even trying to find a good school for your children, or you are struggling with how to pay school fees, because school fees is a major challenge now. And parents are just dishing out money because they see shiny houses and they think that buildings make education. But that's not true. It's not the hood that makes the man. That makes the priest. That is what we know.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Peter Ogudoro and Dr. Taiwo Konde, for sharing your experience and so much information regarding education with the people this morning. Thanks so much for being a part of the
before we allow Dr. Konde to, because we may not have her often, how is your scope